Chunky video.
Gyrus. Every ditch between is called a
Sulcus.
sulcus. The division between right and left cerebral hemispheres is called the
Probably.
longitudinal fissure.
Yeah.
Longitudinal fissure. It goes down to the corpus callosum. Okay? So here's our corpus callosum. Got it, Rain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the posterior aspect of the corpus callosum is called the
The genu.
there's your bent knee up there.
Okay, then the sphem
Genu.
something starts with an S.
Splenium.
Splenium.
All right. The corpus callosum forms the roof of the lateral ventricle. So this is the left lateral ventricle. It's filled with cerebrospinal fluid. The floor of the lateral ventricles is formed by the fornix. The fornix goes all the way down to the hypothalamus.
Can you point to the fornix? Okay, so that's the fornix
The
right there.
floor of the lateral ventricle. So
Okay.
here's your lateral ventricle, here's your fornix.
Okay.
It also comes from the genu and comes down like this to the hypothalamus.
Okay.
Okay? Between the fornix and the thalamus, this is the thalamus right here, the left thalamic hemisphere. Between the fornix and the thalamus is the third ventricle. It is in the third ventricle that we have the choroid plexus, that brown stuff. The choroid plexus makes the cerebrospinal fluid. Which then flows to right here, that is the cerebral aqueduct, into the fourth ventricle, which is right here, which then flows into the central canal of the spinal cord, right here. Most of the CSF is reabsorbed here at the fourth ventricle. All right, so this is our left thalamic hemisphere. This is our hypothalamus. We have
Where's the hypothalamus? Okay.
below the fornix.
Okay.
Okay.
Next to the
Alright.
left ventricle. Lateral ventricle.
Inferior to the lateral ventricle,
Gotcha.
down here, inferior to the fornix. The
So,
fornix actually goes to the hypothalamus.
so this is the lateral ventricle, and then this is the third ventricle.
This is the space is the third ventricle.
Okay, but this opening right here is the lateral.
Lateral.
ventricle.
We have two laterals. We only have 1/3. We only have 1/4. But we have two laterals. They're on both sides. All right, you have the optic chiasm just below the hypothalamus. Okay? Just posterior to that, you can't see it on this one. Let's see if we got a better one over here. Not really, because this is the chiasm, this is the optic tract. Oops, that's not even that. Yes, it is. The optic tract. All right, the pituitary gland hangs down from the infundibulum right here. That dark brown stuff is the infundibulum. Then it turns white. That's part of the hypothalamus. It's called the mammillary body.
The titty.
You got it. We actually have occasionally a sheep brain that actually has both of them, two titties. The human brain does have, a mammillary body on each side. Now, occasionally we have a sheep brain that will show that. All right, so that brings us then to this column of white matter, which forms a V shape. So let's look at it here. Optic nerve, optic chiasm, optic tract, olfactory bulb, olfactory tract, olfactory cortex. Okay? So our two columns of white matter here are the cerebral peduncles. We have 1 and 2 of cranial nerve number 3, oculomotor, coming right off the cerebral peduncles.
So both of those are cranial nerve number 3.
Yes, both of those are oculomotor. They're ribbon shaped. Cranial nerve number 4 is the trochlear nerve, and there is it's very thin, comes out of the ditch between the midbrain and the pons. Trochlear nerve. Both of those nerves move the extraocular muscles. All right, so our pot belly here is the pons, and then we have the medulla oblongata. All right, now I took the time to go over this, even though it comes up later in 3407. Coming up the spinal cord on each side are the vertebral arteries. They come together to form the basilar artery. From the basilar, we're going